that senior leaders in Iran are already packing their bags. They sense what's coming. I'll tell you what would have come if we hadn't acted. We had information that this unscrupulous regime was planning to give the nuclear weapons that they would develop to their terrorist proxies. That's nuclear terrorism on steroids.
Everybody, for more, we are joined by retired U.S. Air Force Brigadier General Chris Eddy, and also with us is the Senate Chairman of the National Iranian Congress and also author of the book, Comrade Ayatollah Amir Fkhravar. It is really great to have both of you here. Your reaction, Amir, when you hear what was just said, it's interesting because it seems like Iran is sort of talking out of both sides of their mouth, as they have been, as you know all too well. On one hand, we're hearing the Ayatollah threatening, death and destruction to Israel. And then we were also hearing from an earlier report that they're negotiating with America. Where do you see this going?
Thank you for having me. Yes, I know this regime very well. I spent more than 5 years in this regime's prison under torture. They broke 50 bones of my body under torture because as an student activist and author. I know them well. I know how they are lying. And let me tell you something. They're eliminating a dozen of high-value commanders, figures who have been among the Supreme Leader's closest inner circle for the past 46 years in Tehran, a populated capital of 17 million without a single civilian casualty, marks an extraordinary achievement by the Israeli Defense Force. That was amazing, and it hurt regime badly. But regime is lying. They want to negotiate. That's a lie, because they want to breathe. If U.S. makes this mistake and let the regime to breathe, the regime is at the point of collapse right now. If U.S. will not go to help directly Israel to destroy the entire regime and help the Iranian people, we are talking about 99% of the country who are against this regime. We are fighting with this regime. We can help Israel and United States to bring up a free and democratic country and nation, and then be friends with Israel and United States again. But if U.S. makes a mistake and negotiate with them, they will breathe. Iran is a wealthy country. They will make bigger and better their terror network. And in 5 years, you will see it again.
Well, very powerful statements, and incredible what you went through also, too, personally, Amir, to fight for freedom. Chris, as we hear this is a very powerful testament from someone who's been there, obviously, on the inside. What does America need to do? What does Israel need to do now, Chris?
I think Israel will continue to establish its air superiority. I would say they have air supremacy, which is significant. They can operate at will, and they believe it will continue. The attacks will continue over the next 2 weeks. As your correspondent, Zach, noted, Iran had about 2,000 missiles prior to this engagement, and Israel has been busy on the ground and through the air depleting those stockpiles, plus the ones that were fired off. So at this pace, Iran is likely to deplete their missile stockpile within a couple of weeks. So I don't see Israel letting up at all over the next week or two. And as the Prime Minister stated, there are some senior leaders in Iran that are having second thoughts. So we could see some significant historical action over the next week or two.
And Amir, I want to ask you also what we just heard from Zach and what Chris was just saying, obviously, a week or two. I mean, that's very powerful. We also just heard Zach saying that there seems to be indications, and Prime Minister Netanyahu was saying this too, of some leaders fleeing in Iran. Obviously, they got the message loud and clear when the Israeli attacks happened, and many of the leaders were taken out, which was just incredible brilliance and intelligence by Israel, rather, on Iran. Do you see that maybe even there are people at the top leadership that will crumble, that will flee, or somehow help Israel and also help the United States? What are your thoughts on that, Amir?
Look, that's true. Those people, we are monitoring them, their airplanes, private jets. They are living with their family. They are leaving the country. Yeah, all of this is true. But the problem is they are coming back if they can breathe. If they, with the negotiation, they can buy time. And you know what? The problem is, as I told you, Iran is a very wealthy country. We have oil. They are giving oil to China. And China is giving them what? The ballistic missiles. Iran is not making those.
Amir, let me ask you, does Israel need to hit the oil fields then?
Not the oil fields, but the entire missile system of Iran, entire of it, and then make sure the regime will collapse. We have heard from Prime Minister Netanyahu. He's directly talking to Iranian people right now. He's asking for the regime change. He's asking the opposition to come out. He's doing the great job. I want to hear this from our lovely president. I love President Trump. Iranian people, they love President Trump. You can't imagine how Iranian people are in love with President Trump. We need him right now to not talk about negotiation with this regime anymore. Go and stand with Prime Minister Netanyahu and together help us to bring down this regime. Then the world would be set. But you know, those fighter jets are going to Russia. They will come back if they can breathe.
Very powerful message. Very, very powerful message. And I'm sure America is hearing from the top leaders loud and clear. Your message is extremely important. Thank you very much. Amir, thank you for being with us and your courage. And also, Chris, thank you. We are certainly praying for peace and praying for freedom for your people there in Iran. Thank you guys very, very much.
Happy birthday, President Trump.
Yep, I'm sure he is watching and listening and hearing it loud and clear. Thank you very much. And everybody, coming up, anti-Semitism is rampant in